My upbringing was perfect. I knew I was loved. I was a very good student. The only struggle I've ever had really in my life is I'm an asthmatic. I started having children at the age of 22, and I now have 2 children. So in my late 20s, I started breaking bones, then learned that it was osteoporosis from steroids that I took because of me being an asthmatic, then started being prescribed pain medication, then addiction found me. And as the addiction began to grow, I would need to take more pills. When I was at my worst, I was taking 60 pills a day. Doesn't mean you don't love your kids, I just became addicted to it. The reason I got arrested was because my doctor was no longer going to give me prescriptions, so I'm calling them in. I had pharmacies all over the place. So it was attempt to obtain controlled substance by fraud and also trafficking charges. When I got arrested, I had both of my children in my car and lots of empty pill bottles. As traumatic as it was for me, it had to have been tenfold for my children. I was sentenced to prison in multiple counties, and in the end, I would be going to prison for 20 years. Prison was a place that I wouldn't put my worst enemy. You're treated like you have no human value at all. We are referred to as inmates, never our name, because that's how they're trained. Any form of abuse that you've ever heard of, mental, sexual, physical, it's every single day. I watched countless women go in the officer station where there's no camera or in a back room, and we know they were having sex. I think staff needs to be held accountable for any abuse. Nowhere in my sentencing papers did it say that I could then now be abused physically or mentally or sexually. Being a prison correctional officer is the only job in the world where you can go to work and do whatever you want to do. You can rape somebody in the corner, didn't happen. You can beat somebody's ass, paralyze them, didn't happen. When I got out from prison, I was a stranger to my children and to my family. They're used to us being gone, so they don't ask us questions. It's just a reminder of everything that was lost in all those years. Like, I can't get that back.
Well, Debra, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Your rights as a human being, in your opinion, were violated, and that went beyond accountability, in your opinion.
Correct.
What was the most egregious crossing of the line you think took place?
I wasn't a human being anymore.
And there was a barter system that went on. You would see these officers go into the non-camera areas, and everybody knew they were going in there with a woman to have sex. And if somebody resisted that or told them no or threatened to report them, what happened?
You're going to lockdown, period, based on their word. They do it every day.
And you said you watched a guard break a woman's arm and just beat her for what?
She had just arrived in prison. She was a kid, and she was a little mouthy. And they beat her up, and they broke her arm. And there's no accountability because all the staff has to do is say, you know, she was resisting arrest. She wasn't letting me, she swung on me. Your word means nothing in prison. We're supposed to be sent to prison to rehabilitate, to get better, to come out a better person, not a broken person.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.